It's hard. It's a hard job that they do, but at the same time, we have to figure out a way to where a bad call or a missed call is not dictating the outcomes of games. I've always said it, especially when it comes to the NFL. There's no game two. There's no I'll get him next week. I'll get him next game. Lives and careers are on the line. Let's get this party started. Dear Legacy, please excuse my balls. What is going on? What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Boy, let me tell you something. We almost didn't have a show. But I can't let you guys down. I can't let y'all just sit there and debate yourselves. I got to give you something to debate about. And then tell me if I'm wrong or not, right? You're tuned in to Please Excuse My Balls, brought to you by Dear Legacy Sports. It's your boy, Kevin B. The Brand, and this is episode 17. Man, the reason why I couldn't let you guys down, one, I'm a few hours away from getting on a plane. The storm knocked out power, put me behind the schedule. I just had a marathon recording of all of my shows, and I almost said, you know what, we're going to skip this week. But I can't. I just can't leave you guys with nothing to talk about from your boy, Kevin B. The Brand. And there's not a lot going on in the world of sports, while at the same time a lot going on at the world of sports. So let's just jump right into the kickoff, y'all. In big headlines, what I'm excited to report on is the WNBA and the Players Union has reached a verbal agreement to start the season on time. But the sad part about it is no banner reveal for me this year, guys. As much as I've been talking about and wanting to go see Asia, unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. I don't know why in my little pea brain, I thought the NBA, WNBA season starts like after NBA for one, and for two, so I'm thinking like, okay, I got to about like early June time frame, but nope. May 9th. May 9th is the season opener for the Las Vegas Aces against the Phoenix, the Mercury team, and that's more than likely going to be the banner reveal. And that same day, Caden has his first golf match of the season, so I got to be there. Father first, and we travel the globe later. I'll see Asia at some point during the season for sure. I didn't even check the season. Maybe I'll catch her if they come to Connecticut or something, or just take my ass to Vegas. I should still be down there for summer league, so hopefully they're home. Or they probably won't be home if summer league's happening. God damn it, we'll figure it out. I gotta see Asia before the season's over. And in other news of the WNBA reaching agreement, the biggest headlines for me is our girls are about to get paid. Listen, they're not making NBA money, but it's a drastic jump from where they was in 2025. Huge increases in player salaries. The cap is going to start this season at $7 million, up from $1.5 million, guys. That's an increase of almost $6 million. Supermax deals are going to start at $1.4 million, up from when it was $250,000 last year for a Supermax player, which is crazy to me. I thought it was a typo when I saw that. I knew our WNBA girls were not making real money, but like, thank God the phenomena of Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and some of these awesome, amazing players, it's now translating to where they could actually start getting paid. At one point, the NBA started making money, and we see where it's at now. If the WNBA can keep up on this trajectory, which I've been talking about, the sky's the limits for these guys. I don't know if they're ever going to get to players making $60 million like a JT and JB, but we had to start. Everybody had to start somewhere, and to see that they went from $250,000 to $1.4 million, In Supermax deals, the average salary is going to be now 600,000, where it was 125,000 last season, and the minimum salary is going up to 300,000, where it was $66,000 last season. So congratulations to everybody across. If you're an NBA fan, WNBA fan, a ball fan, if you have a franchise in your city, it's wins all around for ownership, for players. You're talking about now, so these type of increases in salaries can keep some of our best and brightest from going overseas to, to make up for the money that they're not making over here, right? So kudos to the WNBA and the Players Union for coming to an agreement on that deal. Speaking of deals, the NBA is looking to vote on expansion teams this offseason. When they said they was gonna vote on it. Well, it's on the table for them to vote on the expansion teams, and then looking at Vegas and Seattle. Jumping out of the NBA, let's jump over onto the pitch. And by pitch, I mean soccer. And for those that really call it is football. Messi scores his 900th goal from Miami. Unfortunate part, scoring 900 did not get them to win. They did get knocked out of the cup race. And in other news, to wrap off the kickoff, Venezuela, they beat the U.S. in a World Baseball Classic 3-2 the other night. It was funny watching Venezuela celebrate after the victory. It felt as if it was more than just baseball. Take it as you may. Venezuela beats USA, and it was a lot of celebration out there. But they earned it. They beat Team USA. 3-2. Bryce Harper tied it up, and then it was just not enough for USA to hold on to win the World Baseball Classic. And that's what I got for you guys today on the kickoff. Let's just jump right into a couple quick headlines in the King of Sports. Today's King of Sports is where we cover the NFL segment, and a couple things happening. Major headlines. A few weeks ago, I said that the NFL and the referees union are going back and forth and struggling to come and settle on a new CBA agreement. Well, it's looking like they're not coming to any type of resolution anytime soon, because now the NFL is seeking replacement referees for in the event that agreement is not reached. I highly doubt that the NFL is going to allow referees to hold up any type of situation going on. Yeah, they're probably going to be calling up some refs here soon, which I'm in complete agreement. What are we going to lose? They want to keep it as status quo, and I reported about this already. You guys know how I feel about referees, and you know how I feel about referees, but I also give them some benefit of the doubt, right? Because you can't catch everything. As a fan, we want you to catch everything, but I know that's not realistic, right? You're not going to be able to catch every single thing that's happening in that game, right? The game happens so fast. Players move fast and all that good stuff. It's hard. It's hard. It's a hard job that they do, but at the same time, we have to figure out a way to where a bad call or a missed call is not dictating the outcomes of games. I've always said it, especially when it comes to the NFL. There's no game two. There's no I'll get him next week. I'll get him next game. Lives and careers are on the line by a decision that one person makes. So we have to figure this out and figure out how we're going to better the game. You know what I mean? I call this segment the King of Sports for a reason. The NFL is the king of sports by revenue, by standards, and all that other stuff. Listen, do they compare to the global phenomenon of the NBA? No, but what they doing as a standalone, a shortened season with 17 games and then the playoffs, well, let me tell you. Yeah, moving on from that. NFL is also considering teams. There's a proposal on the table put up by the Cleveland Browns to asking for the owners to vote to potentially allow them to trade up to up to 5 years of future picks. Currently, right now, what that means is currently right now we're in 2026. So if you're doing any type of NFL trades, you can only trade the year that you're going into and 2 years past that. So that's the max. So you can only trade 26 picks, 27 picks, and 28 and up to 28 picks. 2028 picks. Right now they're requesting if this measure was to come out, then you're talking about 29 be on the table and 30 would be on the table. Who would want to do something like that? I don't know, but you're talking about some teams that have buyer's remorse that gave away a lot of picks early, which I don't know why they would want to do this. You're going to just mortgage off the farm for 5 years. And I could see why the NFL probably would not want this to happen, right? Because with teams right now able to do 3 years, if they do the wrong deal, that's 3 years of purgatory. You know what I mean? And it's like now you're talking about a franchise that's not good, that's not competitive. And to protect the shield, sometimes you got to protect the people from themselves. And to me, that sounds crazy. I don't know if some of these GMs should be allowed to have that type of option in their back pocket. And not to mention, with that type of ammunition in your back pocket, I think people will do dumb deals. Right now, we're still trying to fight to get AJ Brown. If you could mortgage five years down the road, what would Philly be asking then? You're hearing all types of things that Philly's asking for AJ Brown right now, to the point where some people are saying, nah, we're good, and they're walking away. But my Patriots are still trying to figure out a way to make it work. But like, you know, I don't know what their price tag is, but if you give them the option to now add an additional 2 years of future picks, nah, me personally, I don't want to see that happen. I just see it going in the wrong direction where a couple of teams could go bad fast. Um, Speaking of teams going bad fast, the New York Jets are sending quarterback Justin Fields to Kansas City, pending a physical. I didn't get all the details on what the Jets are getting back, but I'm assuming it's pennies on the dollar to move Justin Fields at this point. Other QB on the move, the Carolina Panthers are sending quarterback Andy Dalton to the Eagles for a 2027 seventh round pick. Um, the 2027 draft, I mean, it's a seventh round pick, so I think they're just trying to shore up a quarterback behind Jalen Hurts. I don't recall Jalen Hurts getting injured like that. I don't know what this move is for. Who does it benefit? Don't benefit. I mean, Dalton is on the older side, so it's not like Jalen Hurts has to really worry and keep looking over his shoulder. But with a lot of moves happening in Philadelphia right now, we don't know what's gonna end up happening with AJ Brown. We all could see with our two eyes that relationship has been severed. I think he wants out. I think the Eagles, although they're trying to say that they don't want to trade him, I think that's a play to try to get the cost as high as they possibly can get it, knowing that the player wants out, right? So we'll see how that ends up. This one, it was just a weird one that came across the blotter to me. What was crazy in itself, Miami Dolphins have literally reset the whole deck. They've gotten rid of coaching, general manager, staffs, players all over the place, and last time they took a 99 almost $100 million cap hit just to get rid of their quarterback in Tua. They've been releasing players like the Cheetah, and now they just traded wide receiver Jalen Waddle and a fourth round pick to the Broncos for not only a first round, a third round, and a fourth round pick. All right. I seen this deal and I started thinking about, all right, this is what Waddle just fetched from Miami to go to the Broncos. I'm seeing here like my New England Patriots, Miami done kind of screwed you a bit, right? Because if Jaden Waddle is getting this, Granted, he's younger. Miami is just trying to clear books, clear cap space, and all that other stuff. But if that's what you're getting for Jalen Waddle, what if you're Philly, right? If I take my Patriot hat off and I'm Philly, I'm like, yo, if they got that for Jalen Waddle, I could get at least a 1, a 2, and a 3, or 1 and 2 twos for AJ Brown. What I do know for sure, for fact, the Patriots gonna have to move off of that 31st pick in order to get AJ Brown. I don't think the conversation even starts without them moving off of that 31st pick. And I said it last week, and I'll say it again. That 31st pick, you better be in love with that player, and it's going to be a game changer because, my opinion, it's a crapshoot rolling the dice, whoever you're picking at 31. AJ Brown is a proven commodity. AJ Brown is a disgruntled player who wants to come to New England. AJ Brown is a player that wants to prove that, hey, it was not me, it was them. AJ Brown paired with Josh McDaniels offense and and our quarterback throwing him the ball, Drake May. And we have a solid number 2 wide receiver. We have the tight ends. We have the running back. It looks like we fixed the offensive line or gotten better in offensive line, and our defense for sure got better. Why would he not want to come here and show up and show out and see if he can get the Patriots back to a Super Bowl run, right? But this deal, Miami, I say a fuck you, because you just raised the price on AJ Brown. A 1, a 3, and a 4. So now we know, and I've already been saying we need to move off of the number 1. So now we gotta what? Throw in 2 twos with that number 1? Because I'm not doing 2 number 1s. AJ Brown is an amazing talent, but I know he wants out. I know for everybody in the league damn near knows he wants to go to New England anyways. So I'm not doing multiple number 1s. You could get the number 1 this year, and I'll probably throw in. I'd have to look to see what our draft capital looks like, but I'll probably throw in this year 2 or 3, and then trying to see what our draft capital is for this season. This year we got a 1, a 2, a 3, 2 4s, a 5, 4 6s, and a 7. Honestly, to get AJ Brown, I could see myself, if I want AJ Brown, I'm gonna give you my 1 and my 2 this year. I'll give you my 1 and my 2 this year, and maybe throw in a 3 next year, because I know everybody wants to get into that draft next year. Or I'll give you my 1, my 3, and a 2 next year. 1, 3, and a 2. Yeah. I could do that. I could live with that. Because whoever I'm getting at number 1, I'd probably keep on my 2. I'll give you my 1 this year, my 3 this year, and then my 2 next year. I could live with that for AJ Brown, because I still get a high draft pick in the second round. Not high, but I picked 31 in the second round. And then I got multiple low round picks, 4, 5, and 6. That's a lot of draft picks I could get steals in the draft for. That's my opinion. I don't want to keep beating this. I think once I saw this come across my screen, I was like, damn it, we really gotta like up the ante. Unless we have some type of verbal agreement prior to this. We'll see what happens. The draft is about just over a month away. April 23rd kicks off the draft. 2 days of fun, 2 days of young men that work their whole lives to become a pro at playing this game, and they get to hear their name called, whether it be by the commission himself, Roger Goodell, or Tannenbaum, or some other representative from the team. Your name is being called or seen across the ticker. So that's what I got for you guys in the King of Sports. We're going to jump real quick into the Beyond the Lines. A couple things happened there. Cam Young in the PGA sector wins the Players Championship. This week, the guys are going to be playing in a Valspar championship. And right after Valspar, we got 3 weeks left, and it's Masters. Seeing green, baby, and defending champ Rory McIlroy just released his menu, and he held no expenses. That menu made me want to go sit and eat. Even though I'd rather play a round at Augusta than go eat that meal, but these guys get to play it all the time. Still no word from Tiger Woods on his return. He's been teasing a potential return for the Masters, but still nothing yet with 3 weeks to go. Over in the world of TGL, the Jupiter Lynx, Tiger's team, barely makes it into the playoffs. And of course, they beat my Boston Golf Club 9-5 in the semifinals, setting up a matchup against LA, who beat the defending champs Atlanta Drive 6-4. They'll have their 2 matchups this upcoming weekend. Actually, they play the finals. There's two matches this weekend. In the world of tennis, Yannick Sinner beats Dani Medvedev in the Indian Wells this past weekend. And that's what I got for you guys beyond the lines. From there, we're just going to jump right into Campus Legends. It's that time of the year, y'all. It's that time of the year. Oh, baby. March Madness is upon us. It is upon us. The women, they started wrapping up all their tournament play last week. We had some of the smaller tournaments happening this past week. But March 15th, like I've been telling you guys, the brackets came out. UConn took the number 1 overall seed on the women's side, while Duke took the number 1 overall seed on the men's side. You could be number 1 all you want. Number 1 overall, number 1 in your region, but you gotta show up and play the games. And this is the part that I love so much. The NFL and March Madness. Win and you keep playing. Lose, see you later. Have fun. It was great. In leading into this, Miami, Ohio, they lose their first game of the season in tournament play, but they'll still have an opportunity to get into the dance. They right now they'll play for the 11th seed against SMU in the first 4 games. Hopefully they don't fumble that bag as well to go undefeated all season. And then I believe it was the first round of their MAC tournament. They dropped their first loss. It's definitely unfortunate, but that's why we play the games. You gotta show up and you gotta play. Let's see. Let's go to the scores. Right. Tuesday night brought us, you guys know I'm only going to cover the games where I feel as though like it's that little March Madness situation going on where it's like teams should not be losing to this team based off of rankings. And again, rankings be damned. You still got to put the ball in the hoop. You still got to play defense. And sometimes it's just not your night. Don't let it be deep next week when we start this March tournament, though. Number 12, Gonzaga wins the West Coast Conference 79-68 over Santa Clara. No upset there. They just won their tournament. Wednesday had no games. Thursday, we watched number 19, North Carolina, lose to Clemson in the ACC quarterfinals, quarterfinal round, 80-79. Number 20, like I said earlier, number 20, Miami, Ohio, loses for the first time in the season to UMass, 87-83 in the MAC quarterfinals. Sucky time to be losing, but get it out your system now. Get into the dance and see if this year's Cinderella story and how long you can ride that wave. Number 24, Louisville goes down to Miami, 78-73 in the ACC quarterfinal matchup. Going into Friday games, number 8, Michigan falls to UCLA, 88-84 in the Big Ten quarterfinals. Number 9, Illinois goes down to Miami, 91-88 in the Big Ten quarterfinals. Number 18 Purdue beats number 11 Nebraska in the Big Ten quarterfinals, 74-58. Ole Miss outlasts number 15 Alabama in the SEC quarterfinals, 80-79. Bringing us into the Saturday games. Number 1 Duke wins the ACC tournament 74-70 over number 10 Virginia. Number 2 Arizona wins the Big 12 tournament 79-74 over number 5 Houston. Number 13 St. John beat the number 6 UConn for the Big East tournament 72-52. They beat us. Yeah. 70, Jesus Christ. I can't even think straight right now. UConn is having a good season. They picked the wrong time to be dropping a few games. They was as high as, I think at one point they touched number 1, then they dropped to 3, then it was 4, then it went to 9, they came back up to 6, and then you drop this one to St. John's. We'll see what happens, man. Like I said, get it out your system now before you get into it. But that's it's a erase all doubt type situation. 72-52, you lost. You got beat. So figure it the F out and let's go dance. Moving into the Sunday games, number 3 Michigan falls to number 15 Purdue in the Big Ten tournament, 80-72. Number 17 Arkansas beats number 22 Vanderbilt for the SEC title, 86-75. Not really an upset there. It's number 17 over number 22, but number 3 falling to number 15, 80-72. It seems competitive. I didn't watch the game, but the score says something totally different, right? Monday had no games. Sunday came out the brackets. Monday had no games. Tuesday you go right into March Madness. It's the first 4 matches. Win and you're in the tournament. The ones that's already played out, Texas is in with a win over North Carolina State, 68-66. Howard is in with a win over UMBC, 86-83. Congratulations, you get the 16th seed and you get to go play the number 1 seed. Miami of Ohio is set to play SMU tonight, and Prairie View A&M to play Lehigh tonight as the last 2 games to get into the tournament. And Thursday, let the games begin. Round 1. We no waiting around, no sitting around. Later on, I'm gonna give you my picks for the Final Four. I ran a quick simulation through the brackets. I didn't submit them because I really gotta sit through it. But ain't much that I really, when I was doing my brackets, there was a couple. There was a few upsets that I seen happen along the way, but the matchups end up being the matchups that they end up being. Stay tuned for later on. I'll give you my Final Four picks and who wins it all on both sides, on the men's and the women's side. Moving on, let's jump over right to the court division, y'all. Not much major headlines happening in court vision this week. Obviously, SGA breaks Wilt's record of 126 game with 20 plus points or more. Yeah, he did it when my Celtics came to town. That was a good game. It was definitely a good game. I enjoyed the game the most because there was no real foul baiting type situation. It was like blow for blow, toe for toe. Who gonna outlast? And the Thunder outlasted us. It took free throws for them to take the victory, but we had a chance in the end. We had money making Pritch with it was a great play that Joe Mazzulla drew up also to get Pritchard what seems like a wide open shot in the NBA, and it was online. It just felt maybe 2 inches too short, and 9 times out of 10 Peyton Pritchard's probably making that shot, but it is what it is. We have 0.8 seconds left. I'll sign up for that in the NBA Finals. Give me 7 of those all day, every day, where it's a battle and you don't know who's going to win Yeah, it was a great game. Moving on to a couple of headlines that is going on in the NBA. Giannis is refusing to sit out the rest of the season. The Milwaukee Bucks is actually asking him to shut it down for the season since they have nothing really to play for. They're about five or six games out of the last spot in the East. Uh, let's see, 28. Yeah, no shit. There's 7 games out of East, 7 games out of the play-in. Yeah, you're done for. Um, I think there's less than 15 games left on the season, and you're 7 games out. Yeah, the season's over. He still wants to play. Kudos to him. Sure. In other news, the Wolves are slumping a little bit with a couple losses on the season, closing out. And now you're seeing that Edwards is set to miss some time with a sore knee. Hopefully, they're still sitting inside the top 6. I don't see them falling out of the top 6. It's close. You're talking about 3 games and you're back into the play-in. We'll see. Hopefully they could hold it down for a few games while he rehabs this sore knee. You don't want that to become a bigger problem when you're actually in the playoffs. Even if you slide down to 7, which I don't see you going lower than 7 at this point, you could still manage to stay in that 7th seed. But you never know. Because you would play the Clipper. If it was to stay right now, Minnesota drops down, you would be playing the Clippers. Because the Clippers, I don't see getting any higher at this point. A lot of things would have to go wrong on a couple teams' end. But yeah, Cunningham also leaves their last game that they won with back spasms. Something to watch out for because we already know. We saw it once happen where the Detroit Pistons sat Cade Cunningham against the Nets and they end up losing that. They end up losing that game. There's gonna be a couple games that they're gonna have on their season where, if you don't have Cunningham, with my Boston Celtics, only what is it, 3.5 games behind? 3.5 games with about 14 games. How much games is left on this season? 69 games have played. So 70, 13 games. 13 games. Oh, it's doable. It's doable, y'all. And I don't know who has a tiebreaker, but yeah, don't let us catch you and grab that number 1 from you. That's what I got for you guys. Some headlines this week on Court Vision. Let's just jump down to the scores rundown because, guys, I've been chipping away. I told you guys I don't completely suck. And for 3 weeks in a row, I've finished 5+ games over 500 in picking my games. Now, I will say this. Last week, I told you guys there were some games that I was just grabbing and I was calling them gimme games. Thank God for the gimme games. I'm not going to hold y'all. I swept all the gimme games that I picked because it is what it is. At this point of the season, there's teams that are tanking and only a few teams are playing for position in seeding. That's all that's changing. Right now, where we at in the NBA, the top 10 teams on both sides, they're locked. It's just a matter of who's going to be seated at what situation. You're talking about in the East, we got 2 games that separates 4 through 8. 2 games separates 4 through 8. 3 games. I'm sorry. 3 games separate 4 through 8, and 4 games separate 4 through 9. At the top, 3 and 2, they're battling each other, and then now with the Detroit, you're talking about Cunningham with these back spasms. If he misses too much games in this period, you're talking about 2 and 3. They're now looking at that number 1 seed. Because they both been battling back and forth with Boston holding down 2 and the New York Knicks right behind them at 3. And I think they're only a game behind, right? So with that being said, I went 14-4, y'all, last week. That means I am now 2 games above 500 at 61-59. I'm so freaking excited. I came back, y'all. I came back. I was at the bottom of the barrel. I was about 15, 20 games under 500, and I just kept chipping away. Chipping away, chipping away. Remember, I told you I was a playing team, but don't sleep on me, because like the Boston Celtics, I could easily be back in the top 6. And where am I right now? Top 16. Shit, I'd be probably number 1 at this point. You know what I mean? So let's jump to these games that I picked last week. In the Wednesday games, the Cleveland Cavaliers lose to the Orlando Magic 128-122 on the road. The Nuggets beat down on the Rockets 129-93. Whoa, boy, oh boy. The Rockets for me is a weird team, right? I feel as though they have the athleticism, they have the talent, they have the coaching. I refuse to believe that Fred VanVleet is that big of a difference that we can't go into the stretch of this last stretch of the season where we could rack up a couple wins and actually make yourself like you sitting in 3, close to 2, and now you're like on a free fall to now you're sitting at 5. So I don't know what to take or make of the Rockets. I feel as though the Rockets is at least a second round team. And depending on matchup, they might be able to move on. The way it's looking right now, though, they might be a first round exit. So moving on, the Clippers demolished the Timberwolves 153-128. The Thursday games, you saw the Pistons beat up on the wrong way 76ers. The 76ers is heading in the wrong direction and fast. You're talking about a team that was top 5, 6 team, and now they're at 9th at 37-32. And Tyrese Maxey is probably still out for another week. This could go bad fast, where you're talking about you could be in the 10th seed playing to move and play for the 8th seed. That's 2 games you would have to play on the road before you head to, and then you'll be matched up with either the Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics, or the New York Knicks. 3 teams that play physical defense that could outscore you all day, every day. Not looking good for Philadelphia right now. In other games that happened on Thursday night, the Nuggets win over the Red Hot Spurs on the road, 136-131. The Celtics lose a close one, like I said, to the OKC Thunder, which did look like a finals preview. I will sign up for that one all day, every day. I think that those two match up very well against each other. Play great defense. They could score at will. Both have stars. Both have 2 stars on each team. They got amazing role players that play their role and play great defense. They play team ball. They're well coached. Right now, if you're looking at it head to head, take your fan hat off. You would have to give the edge to the OKC Thunder, right? They would have home court advantage if they end up us versus them. I mean, they got the best record in the league right now at 55-15. So I don't see anybody really catching them. To get that best record, the closest person will be the San Antonio Spurs, who's sitting behind them at 51-18. Both teams without key players. We didn't have Jason Tatum or Derek White. They didn't, and Vucevic. They didn't have Jay Will. They didn't have Hartenstein. So I would love to see both these teams at full strength. What they could do to each other. I think that's a slug match, game 7 type situation, buzzer coming down to the buzzer type joint. So I'll sign up for that all day, every day, boy. I know I've been sitting on this Spurs Celtics kick, and I still might be on this Spurs Celtics kick. So we'll see where we at when I jump down later on, to Lucky Seven's top. my lucky sevens top NBA teams this week. Moving into the Fridays games, this is my gimme game section. Oh boy, thank you. The Pistons beat the Grizzlies 126-110. The Knicks beat the Pacers 102-92, and the Cavs beat the Mavericks 138-105. Guys, they were gimme games. I knew these was going to be the outcomes. It wasn't even going to be those type of situations where they'd be close. That's why they call it gimme games. Saturday's games, you had the Celtics beat the Wizards, and it wasn't even close. I don't care what the score tells you. It ended 111-100, but it was, yeah, it wasn't close, not even a little bit. Now, it wasn't Bam Adebayo dropping 83 on them, but the Wizards, yeah. See you next season. They picked up some good pieces. Let's see when they have a whole off season and getting gelling together as a team, what they could end up doing. But yeah, moving on from that, it was nothing to write home about. The Spurs put the Hornets in the corner. They say don't put baby in the corner, but the Spurs did that. They beat them 115-102. And the Lakers outlast the Nuggets in overtime, 127-125. I like this matchup because you're looking at right now, the Lakers are sitting at 3, and the Houston Rockets, the Lakers are sitting at 3, and the Denver Nuggets are sitting at 6. That means you get that in the first round. And we all know, for some reason, the Denver Nuggets have the Lakers number, but this ain't those Lakers. This ain't AD and LeBron. This is Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. And to be honest, hate to say it, but it's Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron. So, but you still got the LeBron factor. No matter how you want to cut it, how you want to splice it. I think he's had like 2, if not 3 games in a row without scoring 20 points, but he don't have to. The man's 41. He got Luka, he got Austin Reeves. Right now, their main focus is to make sure that they play good defense, because we know when it's time to sit down how teams could approach Luka Doncic. Austin Reeves knows how to play defense, but you're gonna tire that man out if you're trying to hide Luka Doncic. That man still don't know how to guard his yard, so. In the final game on Monday that I had, the Spurs take care of the Clippers on the road, 119-115. I didn't pick any games for Tuesday because we was recording on Tuesday. I wish I did, because there was a bunch of gimme games on that Tuesday. 3 out of the 8 games were with teams that weren't playing for anything. One was a playoff bound. The other one is just let me lose on purpose to help my draft status, right? But that's all the games that I had put down. Let's go ahead and check out the standings where we are right now. As of right now, in the Eastern Conference, you got the Detroit Pistons at 49-19, holding down the number 1 spot still. The Boston Celtics right behind them at 46-23. At number 3, you got the New York Knickerbockers, 45-25. At number 4, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers, 42-27. At number 5, you got the Raptors at 39-29. At number 6, you got the Orlando Magic at 38-30. At number 7, you got the Miami Heat at 38-31. At number 8, you got the Atlanta Hawks at 38-31. The 10-win streak Atlanta Hawks at 38-31. They're streaking at the right time, while another team that's sitting at 9, the Philadelphia 76ers, is going in the wrong direction at 37-32. The Red Hot Hornets seem to have cooled off a little bit. They're at 35-34, holding down the 10 spot. But like I said, I could easily see the 76ers sliding into that 10 spot if they don't turn this thing around. The Hornets, they might have cooled off, but they ain't cold all the way. They're in there, and they're trying to make some noise in these playoffs. Moving into the Western Conference, the number 1 spot still holding down by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who has clinched a playoff berth with their record of 55-15. The San Antonio Spurs is the only other team that has won 50 games so far on the season, sitting at number 2 at 51-18. The LA Lakers come in at 3rd at 43-25, while the Minnesota Timberwolves are now at 4 at 43-27, and the Number 5, you got the Houston Rockets, who are sliding down this list with a record of 41-26. The Denver Nuggets are climbing the list, and they hold the number 6 spot right now at 42-28, while the Phoenix Suns are sitting at number 7 at 39-30. The LA Clippers are in at 8 at 34-35. And at number 9, you got the Portland Trailblazers at 34-36. And rounding out the top 10 in the Western Conference will be the Golden State Warriors at 33-36. Let's jump into the Lucky 7 top ranking this week, y'all. All right. I had to remove one team out of my Lucky 7 top rankings, and we have a team to jump in for the first time this season, this young season of ours. You know, we're only 17 episodes in, and I just started doing this, about like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So at number 7, newcomer on the block, I got the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers is making a play to show that with their three-headed monster, they're not somebody to play with. Now, I will say this. I'm still leery on the Lakers because at the end of the day, you're going to have to play defense. But they do have Marcus Smart over there. They do have Hachimura over there. They do have Austin Reeves over there. They do have a LeBron James over there. So they have enough. But they're still led by Luka Doncic right now. And as long as you have a Luka Doncic-led team, no matter how much defenders you put around him, you need him to be scoring, and we know the formula for that. But what I'm seeing out of the Minnesota Timberwolves, I had to remove them off this list and put the LA Lakers onto my Lucky 7's top rankings for the first time this season. Moving on to the number 6 spot of my Lucky 7's top rankings, I'm going to put, and they're still holding on to this spot, the Denver Nuggets. I think the Joker is MVP candidate. If you let me vote, I would say the Joker would probably be number 2 on my MVP balloting, slightly over Shea. And you know I got JB as my number 1 on my MVP ballot. This is not a homer thing. This is just my eyes tell me what my eyes tell me. You take one play off of one team, it's not gonna look the same. You take Shea off of the OKC Thunder, guess what? They still kept winning. We seen it. You take the Joker off, I was shocked. They kept winning. But if you take a Boston Celtics where Jason Tatum is out already, and you take JB off, I love Derek White. I love Austin Pritchard. I love Sam Hauser. I love that whole crew over there. But you can't have both the J brothers out. Not happening. Can't do it. So that goes to tell me who is your MVP. But other people have different opinions on the matter. You know, some of y'all was in my comments already when I had said JB is the best two-way player in the league. I still stand by it. I don't care how many comments y'all put down there. Y'all can make y'all list all y'all want. The JB is the best two-way player to me in the NBA. Hands down. Don't care. And somebody even commented that he said, they said, even Jaylen Brown said Wemby's the number 1 defensive player in the league, right? Two-way player. I don't care what that man said. He has to say the right answer all the time. I'm going to say what I want to say. Go debate yourself. I said what I said. But moving on. The number 5 team on my Lucky 7 top rankings this week is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. I still like that Cleveland Cavaliers team. How far they'll go, I don't know. I feel as though matchup will be dependent on that one. Can I see the Cleveland Cavaliers making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals? Sure. They have enough to where they could get out of the East as well. It'll be hard when you're looking up at the Boston Celtics, when you're looking up at the New York Knicks, when you're looking up at the Detroit Pistons. Do I see them as a first round exit this season? No. I don't think they're a first round exit. If I was gonna look at who in the top 4 would be a first round exit, to me, it'd be the Detroit Pistons. Not saying that they're a bad team, not saying that they suck or anything like that. I just think when depending on the right matchup, And I still stand by, they don't have a secondary option when it comes to offensive scoring. I think if you blitz Cade, no matter how much you could go into his bag, eventually it'll catch up to them. And um yeah, that's just how I feel about that. Moving on. Number 4 of my Lucky 7 top ranking this week will go to the New York Knicks. Y'all know how I feel about the New York Knicks. I feel as though that they should have been the number 1 team in the East up until Jason Tatum returned. I've been saying it. For some reason, they like to play this roller coaster ride. You like it, I love it. On paper, and my eyes tell me roster construction, coaching, and all that stuff says you should be a higher ranked team on not only on my list but in the East. But for some reason, you can't get right. But you still fighting, you still battling, and you have your eyesets with, like I said, 13 games left on the season. You can make a run for that number 2 spot. You can still make a run for that number 1 spot. Um, but only you could decide what you want to, how and when you want to do that. I don't know what your schedule looks like, but only you could dictate that. Moving on. Number 3 on my Lucky 7 top rankings. We had a little shift, y'all. Number 3 is gonna be the San Antonio Spurs. Um, I moved down to San Antonio Spurs based off of the last few weeks that I've watched. I have to sit down. I have to watch them. I have to watch the OKC Thunder. I have to watch a couple of these teams that are out west that I feel as though can come out, because I believe my Boston Celtics will come out of the East. Um, San Antonio, no matter how great they are, they're very beatable. They have options everywhere. They play great defense. They could score at will, and they have the aliens sitting in the middle, right? But I do believe with the right team coming into town, they can be beat, right? I'm not fooled or lost in the sauce where I believe like the regular season, because they beat OKC Thunder 4 out of 5 times, then they're the sure win. Yeah, you put yourself in that conversation, but I need to see you, if you can, you take that number 1 spot from OKC and change momentum to your side, because OKC's been there before. You have not. And I think the way OKC plays, and I've watched this story and I've been victim to this story. My Boston Celtics beat the New York Knicks what was it, 5 out of 6 times last season. They could not get right. They couldn't figure out anything against us. Then we come to the playoffs, they punch us in the mouth. We go down 0-2. We win game 3, and in game 4, Jason Tatum tears his Achilles. We don't know what would have happened. We don't know what would have happened. My eyes told me Jason Tatum was about to go on a heater, but shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? Um, that's why regular season shit is cool. It's nice. But now when it's time for me to sit down and you got to dig deep, it's you versus me. Best of 7. Let's see who's gonna come out with that one. That's the only reason why I put the San Antonio Spurs at number 3. This week on my Lucky 7 top rankings, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder. I really liked what I saw out of the OKC Thunder. To still be missing two of your starters and still be doing what you're doing right now, and you got Shea. One thing that I noticed about that game is when they played the Celtics is Shea gonna get his regardless. That's why I like this whole thing. Like, can he keep the streak alive? Can he keep the streak alive? I think Shea wakes up and has 20, and he knows how to get to the foul line. Now, I do believe that some of the referees, these last few games I've watching, they're not taking the bait on some of the fouls that he usually would get, and not for nothing, Shea's an assassin with that arm bar. He knows me. I look at it and I think it's a foul, but I was told that it's not a foul. You can use that arm to he uses it more so as a block, apparently, as opposed to keeping it up here and locking out. And I think Tatum does that a lot, where he'll lock out his arms this way when he's trying to go by, where Shea uses it low and he could push off. I think they're still in the same thing. It should be offensive, but I'm pretty sure somebody will put that on the table to be voted on to see if you could take that tool away from Shea. But I think Shea, like a Jason Tatum and some of these rising stars in the league, Jaylen Browns of the world, they are savants of the game. They study the game. You take that away from him, he's gonna figure out something else. So that's why I like the OKC Thunder at the number 2 spot. At the number 1 spot, even losing to both these teams at at the 2 spot and the 3 spot, I still like the Boston Celtics. I like the Boston Celtics because you have Jaylen Brown, you have Jason Tatum, and that crew coached by Joe Mazzulla. You have the perfect role players around them. You went out and got size to match up perfectly around with some of these other guys. You got bodies that you could just keep throwing in there for if in the event you get into foul trouble, which Nimi still gets into a little bit of a foul trouble. So now you got Vucevic that could come off the bench. You got Williams that could come off the bench. You have other bodies that you could throw at them. And then when you unlock Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you have wing guys that could play 1 through 5 on offense and defense. So I really like the Boston Celtics at the number 1. I feel as though they can come out of the East. I feel as though if it's a matchup between OKC or San Antonio, it's going to be a good series. You're talking about that's going to possibly 7 and giving me heart attacks along the way. And the unfortunate part for it right now, both number 2 and number 3 team have the home court advantage. So we'll see how it all plays out. Right now, so who do I got? Lucky 7 top rankings. I got the LA Lakers at 7. I got the Denver Nuggets in at 6. I got the Cleveland Cavaliers in at 5. The New York Knicks at 4. The San Antonio Spurs coming in at 3. The OKC Thunder at 2. And the Boston Celtics in at number 1. My NBA Finals pick is going to now be the Boston Celtics versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. I want that matchup. I like that matchup. Battle of the last 2 champions. One could get the first back-to-back in a long time. I believe since Golden State. And you're looking at the Boston Celtics could win their second in 3 years. Not a bad way. You're talking about they could have been on some type of dynasty run themselves if Jason Tatum doesn't tear his Achilles. We don't know what happens in that New York series because I could easily see a Boston versus Indiana. Boston takes that series and they're playing in the NBA Finals versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. And you could have had this matchup 2 years in a row potentially. I do believe that Boston is the best in the East and OKC is the best in the West. And there's teams that's gonna battle them, but they're always gonna be 2 or 3, or even with Boston sitting at 2 right now. You're talking about if we had a healthy Jason Tatum, I think they're sitting at number 1 right now, at the 50 game mark already. I believe the pundit when they put out how many games the Boston Celtics are gonna win, I think they had them at winning only 42 games or 43 games. Come on now. But yeah, that's my Lucky 7's top rankings for this year. That's my NBA Finals pick for, I keep saying this week. OKC Thunder versus the Boston Celtics. So with that being said, let's jump down and do some weekly picks. Let's see if I could keep in the forward momentum and getting higher above 500. Like I said, I went 14-4 last week. Overall now I'm 61-59. I did take some gimme games last week to pad the stats, and I'm gonna take a couple more just in case, because you don't know in this world of NBA, man. So let's jump into it. On the Wednesday games, the Warriors are coming to town. Steph Curry's still not playing. They come to town to face the Celtics. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Boston Celtics in this one. I really hope that Curry could come back next season and really make a run at this thing. The Warriors got some roster construction stuff that they got to do to really put a competitive team around Steph Curry in these last few years. But Warriors coming to town against the Celtics. The Celtics are still trying to fight for that number one seed. I'm taking the Celtics in that one. In my second game for Wednesday night, the Lakers at the Rockets. I think the Rockets are still going to keep going in the wrong direction. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Lakers in this matchup. I'm really liking what I'm seeing at the three-headed monster over in the Lakers with Braun, Luka, and Austin Reeves. The Rockets, talent-wise, on paper, coaching, you should be winning, but for some reason you're not winning. So I will take the Lakers in that game. Moving on to the Thursday games. You got the Magic going to the Hornets. The Magic has been on a little win streak right now, very quietly. They're putting it together at the right time of the season. And that's a team you want to watch out for. Right now, they're sitting in the 6th hole. The New York Knicks, you would get that, you would draw that straw. And I don't know if you really want to draw that straw. I think they play physical. They're athletic. They could shoot the three. And dare I say it, but you got big body Brunson, man. As long as you got Brunson, you got a fighter chance. But anyways, Magic at the Hornets. I'm going to go ahead and take the Hornets in this one. Even though the Magic, I just went on this whole nice rant about them, I still like the Hornets. I think the Hornets is one of the up and coming teams in the East, at least. Still roster construction away, but they playing with house money right now. Pistons versus the Wizards. This is a gimme game, guys. Go ahead and let's check the box right there for the Pistons. The Pistons keep the Boston Celtics at bay and make sure that they grab that win against the Wizards. Got the Lakers, LeBron heading back to South Beach in Miami to face the Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat. I'm going to go ahead and take the Lakers in this one. Even though the Heat is a playoff team, yeah, you're sure. Cool. I'm taking the Lakers in that one. The Cavaliers at the Chicago Bulls, another gimme game, guys. Just in case the Heat decides to take it from the Lakers for me. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cavs in Chicago to beat the Bulls. Last game for Thursday night that I want to grab on here is the Suns heading into San Antonio to face the Spurs. This will be a good game. Last time we saw the Suns, they was they probably paid since then, but the last time I saw them was when they was losing to the Boston Celtics. I think this is a big game for them to try to measure up two playoff teams. But I think they still fall short. I'm going to go ahead and take the Spurs in this one. And I think they could even sit Wemby in that one. They could still win that game against Phoenix. Moving on to the Friday games, you got the Warriors heading to the Detroit Pistons. On paper, this looks like it's a gimme game, but I don't think it's a gimme game. I think the Warriors. I don't know when Steph Curry's gonna come back. Maybe he'll be back by this game or whatever the case may be, because there's nothing saying that he's shut down for the whole season unless I missed it. Warriors heading to the Pistons. They would love to play spoiler in Detroit. But I'm still gonna pick the Pistons in this one. Moving on to the next game, you got the Atlanta Hawks, the streaking Atlanta Hawks. I think they have one of the longest win streaks in the uh-oh. Did they mess it up? Nope. They're still 11 game win streak right now. One of the longest ones on the season right now. Behind OKC got one going on right now with a win streak of 10. But what game are we talking about? The Hawks at the Rockets. The Hawks heading to the Rockets. Rockets going in the wrong direction. The Hawks, they're streaking. I'm gonna go ahead and say, give me the Hawks on this one. something just isn't right in Houston right now, and they can't close out games. Also, I think that's one of the worst parts. It's like they could bring it close, but they have KD, who would normally be a closer, but for some reason they're not closing out these games. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Hawks in this one to keep the win streak alive. Lastly, you got the Celtics at the Grizzlies. Any other situation, this would have been a gimme game, but because it's the Boston Celtics, I'm gonna call it anyways, and I'm always have the Celtics game on my rosters. It's too easy. The Celtics went on the road. And they could sit probably both the J brothers and get this one done. I'm going ahead and take the Celtics on this one. Saturday games, you got the OKC Thunder at the Wizards. Gimme game. Guys, I gotta pad some of these things because some of them they could be, I could be upsetted. So, gotta grab a couple of these ones where I know what the outcome's gonna be. Well, I mean, we did see Detroit lose to the Nets, so nothing's really a gimme. But if there was ever one, is this one. Thunder at the Wizards. They would have to sit everybody and go get their G League players to come play this one. So Thunder at the Wizards. Go ahead and give me the Thunder. The Lakers at the Magic. The Lakers are streaking in the right direction right now. They're at 3. They're not gonna catch number 2. I think they're just trying to supplant themselves at 3 at this point to make sure that in the first round that they're hosting, especially if Denver Nuggets is sitting in that slot, you want to have as much games away from Mile High as you possibly can in order to secure that first round. Make sure you're not heading home in the first round again to the same team. Go ahead and give me the Lakers in this matchup. In the matchup versus the Heat at the Rockets, again, I'm just not a believer of the Rockets. I want to take them in this matchup. They're at home. It's the lowly Heat coming to town, but for some reason, Tyler Hero will come back and drop 40 or something like that on the Rockets. It says I'm taking the Heat. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Heat. I'm gonna stick with the Heat winning this one. If I'm wrong, I got the gimme game to cover. The Pacers at the Spurs. Another gimme game, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and it's an easy no-brainer on this one. One team has 55 wins, the other team has 55 losses. I'm gonna take the Spurs in this one. Last game, that's the last game for the Saturday nights. Let's go ahead and jump into the Sunday games. I only got one game I'm picking for the Sunday games, and it's the Timberwolves at the Celtics. With the sore knee situation that you're hearing with the Timberwolves right now with Ant-Man, it's even easier for me to pick the Celtics on this one. So go ahead and give me the Celtics on this one. Moving into the Monday games, you got the Lakers going to the Pistons. I think as much as the Lakers want to keep their little streak alive and stretch it out, I do believe the Pistons keep them short. Now, if Cade Cunningham is still out to these back spasms, then I do reserve the right to pick the Lakers in this one. But as of right now, on paper, I'm taking the Pistons. Then you have the Thunder going to Philly to take on the 76ers. I'm going to go ahead and take the Thunder in this one. I believe Tyrese Maxey should be back by then, but you don't know what version of Tyrese Maxey you got. But they will be playing hard. They would love to get a notch on their belt being the Oklahoma City Thunder, but I just don't see it happening. Go ahead and give me the Thunder in that one. In my third game from Monday, the Spurs are at the Heat. Because I don't see that team really partying like that on South Beach. I think they go how Wemby goes. So go ahead and give me the Heat. I'm sorry. Go ahead and give me the Spurs to take care of the Heat in this one. Spurs win. And Tuesday night, you got the Magic at the Cavs. I'm going to take the Cavs at home in this one. And in my last game, I'm going to go ahead and call the Nuggets at the Suns. Dev Booker is going to drop 40 2 points in that game, but it won't be enough to keep up with the triple-double of Jokic that he'll have of 36 points, 17 rebounds, and 12 assists. I'm taking the Nuggets in that one. And that's what I got for you guys in the NBA games picks. That's about 20 games. That'd be nice if I could finish about 2-3 games over 500. That'd be great. My last few picks that I want to do for you guys, I told you guys I was going to tell you who I have in the Final Four on both men's and women's side. And so let's jump over to Campus Legends for one quick second. On the men's side, it's easy for me, guys. No matter how much I played around with the brackets and try to put a couple upsets that I could see happening and not happening, it's an all number one's Final Four. I don't know when's the last time that happened, but I have Duke, Florida, Arizona, and Michigan in the Final Four. And I have in the championship round Florida versus Arizona, and I have Arizona winning it all. When I did my bracket right before we jumped onto this one. I could be wrong, like like dead ass wrong. It could be all number freaking fives and a 16. That's the beauty of March Madness, especially on the men's side. Yeah. Like I said, I got Duke, Florida, Arizona, Michigan, and in the Final Four. I have Florida and Arizona playing for the championship, and Arizona wins it all on the men's side. On the women's side, you know I'm staying with my UConn Husky girls. They're in the Final Four. TCU's in the Final Four. LSU's in the Final Four, along with Louisville rounding it out. I have UConn versus LSU in a championship game. Gino versus Moki. I love that matchup in coaching. I love the matchup of the players. But LSU just does not have enough. UConn women wins it all. Erasing all doubt. I think they go undefeated on the season and they win it all. They just got way too much talent and way too much firepower. They're coached well. If there were to be an upset, I think LSU would be that team to do it. You have South Carolina, but I think when I did my brackets, I had South Carolina being upsetted before they even make it to the round to play UConn. So that's my picks for the Final Four on the men's and the women's side. Hopefully I'm right. Let me know what y'all think about these Final Fours, or let me know who y'all picking in y'all Final Fours. Now you ain't even gotta tell me the championship or who's winning it all. Just tell me who you got in Final Four on both the men and the women's side. Let's see how close we are together or how divided we are. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show, and we're gonna jump right into the legacy moment and the final word. Legacy moment and final word, guys. It's basketball. I'm loving life right now. This is you got the dog days of March where they're playing about 17, 18 games in the month of March, and they're only going to play 10 next month. Frank Isola said it best. I know we try to set it up for this NBA in-season tournament, so we play less games in November-ish or whatever the case may be, or December. Then we come back and we're going right into All-Star break. It's a lot of games happening in March. And then the worst part about being in March is you got 20 teams that are actually in the playoffs. Then you have 10 teams that are nowhere near the playoffs, and all they're doing is trying to lose on purpose. And then those are the teams that are playing teams that are in playoff bound. I just want to see something change. Do it in a way where, like, at a certain point, no matter if you win or lose, it doesn't change your rankings or some stuff like that. Because it's kind of pathetic. Because I'm going through lists of games, and we could have about like 10, 12 games on any given night. But out of those 10, 12 games, only 3 of them matter. And then if you're not in the right market, or if you don't buy NBA League Pass, whatever the case may be, that means you might catch one of those 3 games, or you're left with 2 teams that are trying to lose and the score's going up to 167 to 130. Like, what are we doing right now? But I can't stand complaining, because soon enough we're going to be in the playoffs. I'm be excited to see these things. But before we get to the playoffs, we got to get through March Madness first. March Madness is an exciting time of basketball for me. You're talking about the Cinderella stories that could come out of nowhere. You're talking about the number ones being number ones or choking. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier in the beginning, you could be number one all you want, but you still got to play the game. And there's no tomorrow. That's the beauty of March Madness. You lose, your season is over. Over. And for some of y'all coming in with a whole lot of hype. Y'all coming in with a lot of star power. And I'm looking at you too, my UConn girls. You don't want to go undefeated on the season and then lose in the Sweet 16 to some team you don't have no business losing to. All you teams that are out here, go play your brand of basketball. Erase all doubt, especially for my number ones. Teams that are ranked number ones in their region or 1 through 5 in their regions. You're ranked that for a reason. They said you're one of the 5 best teams and put them in this region. They said that you're the top 4 teams in the country. That's why we're making you the number ones of those regions. You can't go be losing to no number 12 seed now. And with the confirmation that the WNBA starting, boy, basketball has me so excited right now. There's not much rants I could go on today. NBA is playing good enough basketball. My Celtics are doing great. The March Madness is doing good. My UConn Husky men's, you better figure it out. Because you might be one of those teams I'm talking about that gets upset by a team you has no business being in the game with you. That being said, go ahead and subscribe to Please Excuse My Balls. If you like what you heard, go ahead and like the episode. Follow us on social media. Tell me where I went wrong. I probably didn't. But if you feel as though I did, go ahead and drop a line. Let me know where I went wrong. Till then, go debate yourself. I said what I said, and I meant it. It's your boy Kevin B. The Brand. Peace.